Okay, so we welcome all of you to our next series of talks that is entitled The Science of Self-Realization. And today we are going to cover the first topic, that is identifying the divine guide. So before starting anything auspicious, we start with some prayers. We start with the prayers to the previous spiritual masters who have been coming in the disciplic succession, and by whose mercy we are receiving this transcendental knowledge of the Vedic scriptures. So here you can see on the screen, and you can try to recite after me. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manodishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Deva Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Shri Radha Kanta Namostute तप्त कांचन गौरांगी श्रीराधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिय वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So this is the first topic of our discussion in the series of Science of Self-Realization, that is identifying the divine guide. So all of us, somehow at some point of the other in our lives, we feel a great need for inquiring about the truths of life. What is death? What is actually the purpose of life? What actually I'm meant for? What I'm supposed to do? And this inquiry forms the basis of accepting a spiritual master, accepting a divine guide, which is supposed to be a representative of God and which is supposed to reveal the transcendental knowledge unto us. So in this today's session, we are going to discuss three topics. First topic is the absolute necessity of accepting a guru. Second is real versus fake gurus. And third, the tripod check, how to check the words of guru, how to check if the teachings that the guru is giving is bona fide or not. So let us start with the first portion, that is the absolute necessity of accepting a spiritual master. So you see, in the beginning of the battlefield of Kurukshetra, so this is the Kurukshetra of battlefield in which the armies are both set. On one side there is Pandavas and on one side there is Kurus. Both are ready with their weapons, and conch shells are blown and the armies are just about to attack each other. Just like India-China war these days. So both the armies are facing and they are just ready to attack the opposing party. In that situation, the hero of the battle, Arjuna, he feels shaky and he is not able to decide what he should do. What is the course of action that he has to perform? On one side, he is a Kshatriya, protector of the society. So it is his duty, being a Kshatriya, to kill those who are miscreants, who are creating disturbance within the society. On the other hand, he is also a son of the Kuru dynasty, and because he belongs to a particular dynasty, he has duties toward that dynasty, that he's supposed to protect the members of that dynasty. But here he sees a contradictory situation. What if the family members, what if the members of my own dynasty are my opponents? Is this situation, what is the right course of action that I have to do? Do I really have to kill my family members, in order to win this kingdom? This was the situation of Arjuna. As it reveals in the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, limbs of my body are quivering, the hair is standing on my end, my mouth is drying up, my whole body is trembling, my bow, Gandiva, is slipping from my hand. I'm unable to stand any longer. My mind is reeling and I'm forgetting myself. So this is the situation of Arjuna. Arjuna is not, some household lady, which just like they show in daily soaps. They show like this, there is some shocking news and kuch thali haath se gir jata hai, something like this. He is Arjuna. He is not only a man, he is a chivalrous Kshatriya. What is the situation? What are the credentials of Arjuna? Just try to understand the situation. So Arjuna had elephantine focus. All of us know this story, that how amongst all the Pandavas and Kurus, Arjuna was the particular disciple of Dronacharya, who was just with one pointed attention. He was looking at the eye of the bird, and he succeeded in shooting that. Elephantine focus. Unparalleled skills. The skills of Arjuna were unparalleled on a cosmic level. That is how much skilled he was. Outstanding benedictions. It is said that he had even defeated big demigods in the battles, and being pleased with his archery skills, even demigods like Indra and Lord Shiva, they personally gave him very powerful benedictions. And after all this, he was having an impeccable character. His character was, it could not be, he was not a shaky kind of person. He was a man of high integrity. It is said that when Arjuna went to the heavenly planetary systems, so there one of the celestial ladies, her name was Urvashi. So Urvashi is said to be the most beautiful girl in the heavenly planets. It is told in the scriptures that what is the beauty of the girls in the heavenly planets? Even the ugliest of the girls in heavenly planets is, 1,000 times more better than the most beautiful girl on planet Earth. And Urvashi was the girl who was most beautiful amongst all of them. And in the middle of the night, she approached Arjuna that I want to enjoy with you. So Arjuna told, no, I cannot enjoy with you. I'm already married. You are not married. So she told, no, this is heavenly planetary system. Here there is no consideration of sins. There is no consideration of papa and punya. And I am a heavenly woman. I can associate with many men. You will not get any sinful reaction for this. But Arjuna told, no, actually one of my ancestors, Pururava, he had intimated with you. And that is why you are just like my mother. So it would be sinful for me to even think of, sleeping with you. But Urvashi, she was very much adamant. She could not accept this. She told Arjuna that if you don't fulfill my desire, then I am going to curse you and you are going to die. Still, Arjuna told, okay, you want to curse, you curse anyways. I am not going to do this. That was the level of integrity and character of Arjuna. So impeccable. Nothing could break his vow. And this Arjuna is put in such a situation that his Gandiva is shaking and hairs are standing on the end and his mind is reeling. He's forgetting himself. So what this goes to show? This goes to show that whoever we are, despite our material skills, despite our qualifications, when problems come in this world, we are completely helpless. The nature of this material world is dukhalayam ashashvatam. It is told in the scriptures, padam padam yat pe padam, that at every step there is danger. Danger at every step in this material world. And in such a situation, all of one's material possessions, one's intelligence, one's good character, one's good behavior, one's nice conduct, everything is helpless when we are faced with the problems in this world. And that is why this material world, this nature of the material world, it behooves us, it necessitates us that we take shelter of a genuine bona fide spiritual master. It is told in the Mundak Upanishad that tad vijnanartham sah guru meva vikachit. So when we are bewildered, we do not distinguish what is religious and what is not religious. At that time, there is need of guru. That is the Vedic injunction. And this way we see this was the situation of Arjuna. How Arjuna is expressing his lamentation in the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita. There is a beautiful verse. Arjuna is telling, Karpanya dosho pahata swabhava prekshami tvam dharma sammudha cheta yat shreyaham nishchitam bruhitan me shishyasteham sadhimam tvam prapannam. In Bhagavad Gita 2.7, Arjuna is telling, Karpanya dosho pahata swabhava. Because of this miserly weakness, I'm not able to decide what is dharma sammudha chita, what is the right course of action, what is my dharma at this point of time. Yat shreyaham nishchitam bruhitan. Whatever, what is the higher duty, that I'm not able to decide for myself. And in such a situation, what he does, shishyasteham sadhimam tvam prapannam. He's telling to Krishna that I am now your disciple, a soul surrendered unto you. Please enlighten me on this transcendental subject matter. And in that situation, Arjuna accepts a spiritual master. Now just try to understand what is our situation in front of Arjuna. We are product of Kali Yuga. What to speak of impeccable character? What to speak of getting benedictions by demigods? We are already having so many disqualifications. It is told in Srimad Bhagavatam that Prayena alpa ayush sabhya kalao asmin yuge jana manda sumanda matayo manda bhagya yupatrita. Prayen alpa ayushabhya. Kali Yuga people are short-lived. Alpa ayushabhya. Kalau asmin yuge jana. The people in this age of Kali. Prayen alpa ayushabhya. Kalau asmin yuge jana. Manda sumanda matiyo. Their intelligence is very dull. You see, practically, just to remember a phone number, we need a pen or paper. You cannot memorize a phone number also. That is our situation. Alpa ayushabhya. Kalau asmin yuge jana. Manda sumanda matiyo. Manda bhagya yupadrita. Manda bhagya. People in the Kali Yuga are very, very unfortunate. Why unfortunate? Because most of the people in this age are not having any spiritual inclination, any inquiry about what is going to happen to me after death. What is the solution for death? I am going to die one day. I am working very hard, but ultimately everything is just going to be null and void at the time of death. So why I am working so hard? What is the actual purpose of life? These questions do not come in the mind of Kali Yuga men. And even if there are some people who genuinely want to seek spiritual knowledge, they are misguided by so many so-called spiritual teachers of the society. So that is why in today's session, we are going to discuss what is the qualification of a genuine representative of God. So you see, Vedic scriptures are so nice. Just one word of the scripture can tell you so many things. For example, the verse which I just quoted, Arjuna's lamentation, Karpanya dosho. The first word is Karpanya. Karpanya is coming from the Sanskrit word Kripana. Kripana means a miserly person. मतलब हिंदी में क्या बोलते हैं, कंजूस बोलते हैं. बहुत लेवल, अच्छे लेवल का जो कंजूस होता है, that is Kripana. Now what is the meaning of Kripana? Kripana means you have something but you do not utilize it. You have a lot of money with you, but still, you wear torn clothes. You do not, eat nice food. That person is called as miserly. Now, the Vedic definition of a miserly person, a kripana, is someone who does not utilize this valuable human form of life for inquiring about the higher truths of life. And that is how he just ends up wasting this valuable human form of life, just like cats and dogs. On the other hand, there is Brahmana. Brahmana is a person who is conscious of his eternal duty, who is conscious that one day I am going to die, and this human form of life which I have got is very, very rare. So let me make the best use of this and let me perfect my life by taking to spirituality, by taking to spiritual path. That is the difference between Kripana and Brahmana. So Kripana is just overly attached to his material possessions, his material belongings. Okay, I have acquired this much money. I have a beautiful wife. I have a big flat. I have so much name and fame in the society. I have conquered everything. Now there is nothing higher than this. But a Brahmana understands that whatever positions I am having right now, it is just coming due to the mercy of the Lord. And it can be taken away at any point of time. At any point of time, death may strike us. No one can tell that I am going to live for 60 years or I am going to live for 100 years. At any point of time, we can die, and all of the possessions which we are so much proud of right now can be taken away. That is why a Brahmana is intelligent and he understands and he makes permanent solutions for the real problems of life, that is birth, old age, disease and death, as we have discussed in our previous sessions. So a Brahmana accepts a spiritual master for spiritual guidance, how to make progress in spiritual life. Now, some of you might be thinking, will it not be much better if I can think for myself rather than, relying on some person, his understanding, or scriptures which look like the words of some old fashioned people? Isn't it better that because I am more evolved, I can take better decisions for myself? The answer is no. Because uh, even to what to speak of spiritual subject matters, even our date, even to conduct ourselves, even to just live in this material world, we have to depend on others. We cannot do everything on our own. For example, in order to understand some subject, you require a professor to teach it, right? You cannot just simply read through the books. How one becomes a doctor? For becoming a doctor, one has to read the books and one has to practice under the apprenticeship of a qualified doctor. And after years of practice, one is given this degree. Okay, now you have become a doctor. So in what to speak of spiritual subject matter, even for understanding material subjects, we require a guru. Another example, a doctor. Let us say, based on my intelligence, my analysis of things, I start taking some random pills. A patient starts to take some random pills for his disease. Someday he takes red pills, someday he takes some yellow pills. So do you think such a person will get cured? No. The best course of action is consult an expert, a person who has studied the things, who understand the things. And from based on this, we can take guidance on our health. Similarly, a child is completely dependent on the mother. If a child becomes rebellious that I have to do everything on my own, so he will be just miserable. The simple solution is just surrender to a mother, and mother takes care of the child. Mother can take care of the child in a much better way than the child can ever imagine. Similarly, what to speak of these things, even when you go to barber to get a haircut, you are putting your neck in the hands of a person who is having a knife with him. उसका दिमाग घसका तो कुछ भी कर सकता है आपके साथ. Still we choose to take shelter, and you choose to trust that person. So without trust, without faith, we cannot execute even our day-to-day activities. Then what to speak of spiritual subject matters which are much beyond the realm of our imperfect senses? In such a situation, it is practically impossible for a person to come to correct conclusion without accepting a bona fide spiritual master, because the spiritual sciences are just so subtle. We can miss the entire point. We can read the entire Bhagavad Gita, but we will miss the entire point. That is why it necessitates us that we have to take the shelter of a spiritual master. That was the first part of this session. Bhagavad Gita 4.34, Lord Krishna is explaining how to understand the transcendental subject matter. Lord Krishna is telling, Tadvidi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upedakshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshina. Just try to understand the truth by approaching a bona fide spiritual master. Inquire from him submissively and render service unto him. The wise man can reveal the knowledge unto you because they have seen the truth. This is what Lord Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita 4.34. That the correct method to receive transcendental knowledge is to approach a spiritual master and serve him, inquire from him submissively, and because he has seen the truth, he can reveal the perfect knowledge unto you. This is the method that is ordained by the scriptures. Now, before accepting a spiritual master, we have to understand what are the qualifications of a spiritual master is. For example, let us say you go to purchase a ornament. So you should have the idea of what actual gold is. What are the characteristics of actual gold? If you don't know the characteristic of actual gold, the shopkeeper may cheat you. He may give you some counterfeit gold or something like that. And then you may think that you are having the correct thing, but you are just going to get cheated, right? So similarly, before accepting a guru, we should have the understanding what actually this Guru Tattva means. Who is actually a guru? So we have to clearly understand the difference between what is real and what is fake. So here are some popular representations of guru in the current contemporary scenario, which is not actually true. Who is not a guru? First, we have to understand this. So someone who is charging some fees to give you some secret mantras. You want to deal with this problem, you come and meet me privately, you pay this much amount, I will give you a mantra, 6 months you chant and your problem will be solved. This is not the kind of job that a bona fide guru is supposed to do. Giving material benedictions, आपके लाइफ में ये प्रॉब्लम है, ये काम करो, तथास्तु, like this. आपको अगर ये बीमारी है, ये चीज करो, तथास्तु, like this. Giving material benedictions, आपके whatever problem you are having in your life, in your material life, for example, related to family, related to job or marriage, anything. So he gives some material benedictions. That is also not what a guru is supposed to do. Then there are some people who teach gymnastics on the name of yoga. So purpose of yoga is to connect with God. The yoga word itself means to connect. Now to connect with what? To connect with God. But there are some spiritual teachers, so-called spiritual teachers, who just tell that the purpose of yoga is just to keep your body fit so that you can enjoy the life better. No, that is not actually the purpose of yoga. And that is not what actually a guru is supposed to teach. Then another false guru, one who propagates self-concocted philosophies. The philosophy that he is speaking is not consistent with what the scriptures are telling. Just 6 months you chant this mantra and you will become God. No, we cannot become God. There's nowhere in the scriptures it is mentioned that you can chant some mantra and you can become God, you can become one with God. So these are some of the concocted philosophies which are very much popular in the modern society. And there is another class of guru who tells that the purpose of life is just to enjoy, and you have to follow certain rules and regulations so that you can enjoy life better. But there is no need of performing austerity, performing tapasya, restricting yourself on something. You can do whatever you want and still you can advance in spiritual life. No, for advancing in spiritual life we should be ready to pay the price. Just like you go to a shopkeeper, if you want the costliest item, then you should have the most amount of money with you. You cannot just pay 2 rupees and get the costliest item done. No. So because people in the modern day scenario, they are looking for something cheap, that is why such cheater gurus are existing in the society to cheat these people. This is how the system is arranged. So we have to become sincere in our lives, and then we can identify between what is real and what is fake. Now, what are the qualifications of a bona fide guru? Now, these some of the examples I gave of false gurus who are very popular in the society. Now, here are some of the genuine gurus who we have been fortunate enough to be born in a country where so many genuine spiritual masters have taken birth, like Madhvacharya, Ramanujacharya, Lord Chaitanya, Tukaram Maharaj, Six Goswamis. In every part of India you go, there will be some bona fide spiritual teachers. So, how to identify? So here are some parameters by which we can identify. First is, what is the guru's understanding about God? So guru must be a self-realized person who has understood the conclusion of the scriptures by deliberation, and he should be able to explain them to others. Bhagavad Gita 15.15, Lord Krishna is telling that Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishto mattas vritir jnanam apohanam cha vedaisya sarver ahameva vedyam vedanta kritveda vidveva chaham. Through all the Vedas, I am to be known. So if a person is genuinely claiming himself to be guru, he is supposed to understand that the essence of all scriptures is to surrender unto Krishna. And this is what a guru should preach, not just some cheap gymnastics or some material benedictions to keep us happy in this material world. No, a guru is supposed to chastise the disciple when he is doing something wrong. He is not just he should not be like a yes man for the disciple. He is supposed to guide the disciple in solving the real problems of life, how to surrender to God, how to transcend the world of dualities, and how to attain a eternal life in the spiritual world. This is what guru is supposed to teach. Then second thing, guru is supposed to understand the essence of the scriptures. He should not simply be a Sanskrit scholar who is just quoting shlokas and he does not understand the conclusion. When Srila Prabhupada was in Vrindavan, so many of the so-called scholars, Sanskrit scholars, came to Srila Prabhupada, and Srila Prabhupada asked him just one question: who is God? And they were discussing amongst themselves, and they were telling Prabhupada, actually this is very confidential subject matter. There are different theories. I don't know, this is very difficult to explain who is absolute truth. Then Srila Prabhupada called one of the students of the Gurukul, small kid, 5-year-old kid. And Srila Prabhupada asked that kid, who is God? And that kid told that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. Srila Prabhupada told, just see, this is 5-year-old kid and he understands that what is the conclusion of the scriptures. But you are just caught up in, memorizing Sanskrit verses and, speculating on the basis of these verses. You're just speculating your own concocted philosophies. So that is not what a guru is supposed to do. Guru is not supposed to be just a Sanskrit scholar. He's supposed to understand the essence, how to connect the disciple back to Krishna. And guru is beyond the superficial differences. For example, the difference of caste, creed, nationality, like this. And there is a verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita. It tells that Kiva Vipra Kiva Nyashi Shudra Kena Hoy Jai Krishna Tattva Veta Say Guru Hoy. Kiva Vipra. A guru does not necessarily has to be a Vipra, a Brahmana by birth. Kiba Nyasi, he is not necessarily a sannyasi also. And Shudra Kena Hoy. He may be a Shudra also. Jai Krishna Tattva Veta Say Guru Hoy. One who understands Krishna, he is qualified to be a guru. Another verse in Padma Purana tells that Sat Karma Nipuno Mantra Tantra Visharado Avaishnava Guru Nashat Vaishnava Swapacho Guru. That there is a Brahmana who is expert in performing Vedic sacrifices. He is expert in teaching the philosophy to others. But if he is not a devotee of Krishna, he is a Vaishnava. Then he is not qualified to be a guru. On the other hand, a person who understands Krishna, a person who is a Vaishnava, even though he may be born in a family of dog eaters, Chandal by birth, still he is qualified to be a guru. So the guru is beyond the superficial differences of caste, creed, and nationality and all. Like this. So the guru imparts spiritual benedictions, not material. So this we discussed earlier also. For example, in India there are many famous, so-called spiritual teachers. आप अपने लाइफ में ये करो तो आपका ये हो जाएगा, ठीक है? Some people cure diseases also. लोगों को लगता है कि because he has cured diseases, he has some mystical power and therefore he is a bona fide guru. No, these mystic siddhis are very cheaply available. Anyone can achieve these things. This is not what actually makes a person qualified to be a guru. A person should be able to transform the heart of the person, transform the heart of the disciple. That is what a guru is supposed to do. Below you can see a picture of a very famous guru and disciple in India. And in the picture you can see that it is said that what happened, that the guru, he gave all of his spiritual energy to the disciple, and then he lost all of his spiritual credits, and that is how the disciple becomes very much glorious. Now this is such a bogus thing. This is not at all consistent with what is mentioned in the Vedic scriptures. When we read Ramayana, we don't see that Lord Ram got any electric shock or something like this from Vishwamitra Muni. Or when we read Bhagavatam, we do not hear that Lord Krishna, he went to the ashram of Sandipni Muni and Sandipni Muni just touched him or, gave his energy to him in form of some light or something, and then Lord Krishna became enlightened. No, the transmission of Vedic knowledge takes place through the ears, through Shruti. It does not take place, through some magical kind of mystical kind of light coming out and then the guru becomes very much powerless and the disciple becomes very much powerful. No, all of these are bogus things created to misguide the common people. This is not what a guru is supposed to do. The transmission of Vedic knowledge takes place through hearing, attentive hearing. When a disciple hears the message of guru coming through the disciplic succession, beginning from the Lord Krishna himself, and that unadulterated message enters into his heart and enters into his ears and then finally through the heart, then his heart experiences transformation. That is how the Vedic transformation and transmission of Vedic spiritual knowledge takes place, not by some electric shock. Then guru cannot be purchased with any amount of money. He is not after name, fame, wealth, or increasing his followers. Nowadays there are so many gurus who are earning in millions. They have thousands of disciples and millions of disciples and they are earning in millions. No, actually a guru is not supposed to run after wealth and women. Actually, he is not interested in followers also. He does this just as a humble service to God. And practical example we can see in the life of acharyas. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he was the spiritual master of Srila Prabhupada. So once upon a time, a wealthy man donated a lot of money to him, and he was very grateful. Thank you for donating this money. And afterwards, he was giving class, and this wealthy man who donated the money, he was not listening to the class. He was just sitting in the back, and he was talking with other students who were sitting in the class. Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur became so angry. He, at that moment, in the middle of the class only, he chastised that man. He told that, "Do you think you have purchased with your money? I'm not here for your money. I am here for your benefit. You have to hear the message seriously, and that is how your heart is going to get transformed." So a guru is not ready to. Guru is not one. Guru does not compromises on his integrity just for the sake of money or women or wealth or some cheap followers. Next qualification is Guru must have sense control. A person who is smoking a cigarette, he cannot tell others that you should not smoke a cigarette. So Guru must be having self-control. For example, we see in the life of Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur. So Lord Chaitanya, he made Haridas Thakur the Namacharya, the Acharya for the Yuga Dharma, that is Nam Sankirtan, for this age of Kali Yuga. And Haridas Thakur, when he was chanting, so one of the Muslim people in his area, he was also a Muslim by birth, but because he had this, he understood the science of Krishna. So Lord Chaitanya made him the spiritual master for Harinam Sankirtan, that is the Yuga Dharma. So one fine day, what happened? One of the local chiefs who was envious of Haridas Thakur, he sent a prostitute to deviate Haridas Thakur from his chanting, and and then his plan was to expose him in the public, that see, secretly he is meeting with women. So the prostitute came, and Haridas Thakur told him that you just sit here, I will finish my chanting, and then I'll talk with you. So he was chanting, and it became night, and the prostitute, she, she kind of slept there only listening to his chanting. For 3 days continuously she came, and Haridas Thakur was so much absorbed in chanting, so much absorbed in relishing the holy name of Krishna, that he just forgot that there is a prostitute sitting next to him. He was experiencing such a higher taste. And then this prostitute, after 3 days, she experienced a transformation in her heart, because she was listening to the pure holy name chanted by a pure devotee of Krishna. And afterwards, she gave up her prostitution, and she also became a devotee of Krishna, and she also started chanting. So that is the level of sense control that is expected from a guru. Guru must be having sense control. He cannot be loose in character. Then what is the potency? Where is the potency to transform the hearts of others? So Guru must have sense control. Then Guru should be decorated with all saintly qualities. And this we see in the life of all the great saints who have been, all the great bona fide gurus who have been in the who have walked past amongst us. Jesus Christ, you see, Jesus Christ was ready to undergo crucifixion just to transform the hearts of the people. That is what is meant by sacrifice. That is what is meant by being a representative of God. That is what is the qualification of an actual guru. All saintly qualities. It is told in the scriptures that यस्यास्ति भक्तिर भगवती अकिंचन सर्वे गुणा तत्र समासते सुरा हराव भक्तस्य कुतः महद्गुना मनोरथे नासति धावतो भय. That a person who becomes a devotee of Krishna, all the good qualities manifest inside the person. On the other hand, a person who is not a devotee of Krishna, he can deviate anytime, because he is just on the mental platform. Sometimes he will exhibit some good qualities, sometimes he will not. But because once a person becomes a devotee of Krishna, Krishna becomes active in his heart, and then he acquires all the good qualities eventually. So that is what a guru is decorated with, all saintly qualities. And guru should preach by his own example. It is not that he's teaching one thing in class and in real life he's practicing something else. No, guru is supposed to preach by his own example. Srila Prabhupada, once George Harrison, the famous singer from the Beatles, he came to meet Srila Prabhupada, and he asked Prabhupada this question, that there are so many gurus in the society, everyone is teaching different things. How to understand that which guru is bona fide? Srila Prabhupada told just one statement, that see, essence of the scriptures is to surrender to Krishna. So now you see amongst all the gurus, who is most addicted to Krishna? who cannot live without Krishna, who cannot live without speaking Krishna's message, who cannot live without serving Krishna. That person is the bona fide spiritual master. That person is a bona fide guru. So guru should preach by his own example. He should not, be a hypocrite that he is teaching something else and in his real life is practicing, not practicing. Now, how to check the whatever the teachings of the scriptures are, it is correct or not. So there is a balance, guru, sadhu, shastra. Through this you can check and balance. So whatever the guru is speaking, that should be consistent with sadhu, the words of sadhu. Now, who is a sadhu? Sadhus are all the previous gurus, bona fide gurus, who have been coming in the disciplic succession. So his teaching should be in line with the teachings of all the previous acharyas. And shastra, shastras means original words of God, which is coming through the disciplic succession. So guru, he is supposed to repeat the same message of the Supreme Lord Krishna coming down the disciplic succession. So this is the check you can, through which you can check whether a person who is claiming himself to be a guru, is he bona fide or not. And this is what gave me a lot of faith in Srila Prabhupada's books. Earlier also I had read a lot of spiritual books from many societies. I will not take names, but uh, I could not verify whether they are speaking something is correct or not. But in Srila Prabhupada's book, I found that for every statement that he is speaking, he is quoting from the scriptures. Okay, I have spoken this. Now you just see Bhagavad Gita, this verse, same thing is spoken. Lord Krishna is telling the same thing. So, now I'm telling this thing. So same thing is spoken in Padma Puran. Same thing is spoken in Srimad Bhagavatam. So again and again when I read it, so then I understood, okay, here is a bona fide person who is trying to teach a pure message, unadulterated message. And here is a famous example. If a guru is not transparent via media to Krishna, if your guru is, his teachings are deviating from the teachings of Supreme Lord Krishna, then in that case one should reject the guru. One is not obliged to follow his instructions because he is not representing Krishna as it is. And there is an example in Srimad Bhagavatam that when Vaman Dev, he came in front of Bali Maharaj and he asked for 3 steps of land. At that time, Shukracharya could understand that this Vaman, he is not an ordinary child. He is Supreme Lord Vishnu himself, and he has come to take away the entire kingdom of Bali Maharaj. So Shukracharya told Bali Maharaj that you should not give him this promise. You should not tell him to that whatever he is going to ask, you are going to give, because he is Vishnu himself, and he is going to take away your entire kingdom. Bali Maharaj rejected the instruction of Shukracharya. Because he understood the scriptures, he understood the essence of the scriptures. The essence of his scriptures is to surrender unto Krishna. Now Krishna in the form of Vaman Dev has come and he is asking you to do something. Who is Shukracharya to tell him that you should not do? What is his consideration? So in that situation, he rejected the instruction of Shukracharya and he gave promise to Bali Maharaj and he emerged glorious. So this way we understand, if a guru is not the transparent via media to the spiritual, to the chain of acharyas and eventually to Lord Krishna, then he can be rejected. So finally we are moving to the conclusion of today's session, that Lord Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita that he has to surrender to him only. And by doing so, what happened? Arjuna became free from all sufferings and ultimately attained the spiritual world. That is beyond this dukhalyam ashashvatam, beyond this padam padam yatve padam. That is the spiritual world. So this is the concluding words of Bhagavad Gita. Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna, Yatra Partha Dhanvadhara, Tatra Shri Vijayo Bhuti Dhruva Nitir Matir Mama. Wherever there is Krishna, the master of all mystics, wherever there is Arjuna, the supreme archer, there shall be certainly opulence, victory, extraordinary power, morality. That is my opinion. So this Sanjay is telling in the conclusion of Bhagavad Gita. So this way we understand that by following the footsteps of Arjuna, Arjuna was in doubt and he surrendered to a spiritual master. He was fortunate that he had Krishna directly with him. But for all of us, now you can ask, hum log ke paas to Krishna nahi hai. Now how can we surrender to Krishna? So that is where the role of representative of Krishna, Guru, comes in the picture. So he is supposed to be a transparent via media to Krishna, and he is repeating the same message. So essentially same transformation can be experienced within our lives also, within our hearts also, if we just take the instructions of genuine bona fide spiritual masters very seriously. So as a conclusion, we see the Pandavas were 5, Kauravas were 100, but because their actions were based on dharma, Their actions were based on the words of instructions of Lord Krishna. That is why they won the battle, because they followed dharma and they had the father of dharma, Krishna, on their side. So anyone who follow in the footsteps of Arjuna will also be successful. So I thank you very much for attending to this session. Our next session will be the spirit of Bhagavad Gita, and we shall mention the schedule in our Telegram channel. Okay, so thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.